You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I just don't know. It's just the point at which we are in the season and the number of games that have been played. The fact that there has been so much said about this being an older or mature team. And I'm just still thinking, if you're this far in and it's been a consistent problem with the biggest showing of itself as a problem coming most recently. And I get the thought that, and I've seen it out there and I've even indulged a little bit in thinking about this, but just the thought of, I guess kind of like you said, well, it could be inflated and that's a Utah specific problem there, but you were still in the Tech uniform. These were your guys. This was your 5 days to prepare for it prior to the game. This was still the Red Raiders doing all this. So there's nowhere else to lay it but at their feet. So I hope that part is true and maybe we can alleviate that aspect of it as far as the false starts and stuff with the offensive line on the road. But that's not the only thing that's been plaguing Tech to this point in the year. So I don't know, man. I hope we're going to do another patio post-game report after the game, and it will not be a topic of conversation, but it's been a topic every week so far.
I will say this, though, and I bet you'd be willing to go, all right, if you continue to beat people by 41 points on average, which is what you are, I don't care what the hell they do, man.
No. But here's the kicker on that, Chris. We're talking about trying to compete for hardware. That I
get it.
Thin.
I get it. And
I'm thinking about like the Baylor Bears is the last team I remember thinking, y'all are so talented, it doesn't even matter if you're disciplined. And that was in the Art Briles years.
Yeah.
But there's very few of those teams that can absolutely just commit crimes against the family over and over.
And we know, I mean, we talked about this. We know that this is and has been for weeks, like something that they are cognizant of or trying to get out in front of. And I don't know if it's just the newness of some of these guys, if this is whether it's scheme or road and like a new coach, in that sense, like not having a better system in place to have the snap count.
Remember the special team stuff early on too? I mean, a lot of them were coming in that area. I mean, it's just
holding on. Yeah. Again, crimes against the family. Poor Tristan Gentry. He's been wronged multiple times. I'm like, yeah, he pissed off. So I guess we'll see. Because at some point you're right. You're going to tempt fate a little bit, and you're going to go, okay, it burned us a little bit here, or we're going to have to sweat this one out because of our own doing. And that's just why Joey continues to say, man, best version of ourselves. This is about us. Suck less. Don't. What's his favorite saying?
I got to be honest. I've been thinking, yeah, that's a complete game you played in Salt Lake City. And if that is the one thing, because you got busy in the kicking game, the punting game, defensively, you got it going through the air. You eventually broke it open on the ground. We talked about last week, like I know what the offensive line's day looked like, but I still thought that was one of their best days of the year. And so to hear him, and maybe there's some coach speaking there too, but to hear him say, we're not even close to a complete game. All right, interesting. And the penalty thing seems to be one of the biggest obstacles to that, but
I think that he's right in that they have a whole nother gear to hit. And then as he's challenged them, when you hit that gear, there's still more to go.
Yeah.
But that's what there's no such thing as like perfect in this deal. Doesn't exist. It never has existed. Doesn't mean that you don't keep trying to challenge yourself to find it.
Sure.
I mean, that's the beauty of sport, and particularly this one with so many moving parts. We're gonna keep chasing it, but we've got to keep getting better. But I think that's what he would say is like we've just got much better to do because we continue to hurt ourselves, and let's stop doing that, and then let's see what it looks like.
I don't want to beat dead horses, but I think you just got to remember the context of this season in that you're trying to do something you hadn't done before. Mm-hmm. Like, is this stuff complete enough to go 8-4? Sure, probably. 9-3? Sure, probably. It's kind of like the quarterback conversation. Well, either one's good enough, so why even wonder or ask about it? Well, because you're trying to do something you've never done before. So, yes, we are sweating out the details every week, I think, this season. At least I hope we continue to have the chance to sweat them out, because if you pile some L's or something like that, we won't be sweating it so much. But until then, there is no little thing or too little thing to maybe sweat out or cuss and discuss. hopefully we'll see something different this time around in Houston. And Chris, like you talked about, maybe a little bit friendlier, I don't know, percentage as far as your fans or whatever on Saturday, but like Coach McGuire talked about. First, today's episode brought to you by Square. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home, whether it's the local sports bar, the coffee shop, or the corner store that's been serving your neighborhood for decades. These are the kind of places that bring people together. And when neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world, including some local favorites in the 806 like Shadow Hills Golf Course, The Outdoor Chef, Quarter 4, Lubbock Welding Supply, Sugar Bakers, and a whole lot more. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more today. But before you do, go support your favorite local spot. Powered by Square. See you in the neighborhood. Tempe, Arizona's out there. Manhattan, Kansas is out there. I mean, you're still going to have obviously some daunting road challenges, not to say, too little about this one coming up. All right, before we get out of here, Chris, something else interesting about this weekend is a couple of names that are going to be back in the mix, maybe to a more full-time kind of extent. As far as availability, do they actually get on the field or getting some meaningful run? I don't know just yet, but let's take a listen to Red Raider head coach Joey McGuire talking about some of these that will be back possibly in the mix and with a chance to make an impact.
A couple guys we're getting back, that Cash Cleveland will be back. He practiced all last week, practiced yesterday. Ellis Davis practiced all last week, and practiced yesterday. And this is probably as healthy as we've been, since going into camp. Guys, it was a good week to have off, of different guys that have been banged up. TC's been banged up a little bit, so he felt good yesterday. And so it was good to have that week off. And even though a lot of those young guys still practiced, the old guys were able to get a little bit of practice in during the week and then run a lot to keep us in shape.
Obviously hoping that for some of those we've already seen in the mix, like Carter, who he mentions that a week of extra rest maybe will do them some good. But I don't know, does Cash Cleveland intrigue you at all, or Ellis Davis or anything else? Because the O-line is one of those spots where maybe there's a window open, I guess.
Yeah, no, these are pieces that are best case scenario, like, a week or 3 away, depending on there. It's nice to have healthier options. It's nice to have more guys involved in practices and ramping it up. But as far as like immediate need or would they be available to play in a Big 12 game? I don't think we're there yet. This bye week was really, he touched on it. Terrence Carter is who needed this bye week. Charles Esters needed this bye week. Hunter Zambrano needed this bye week. Baron Morton needed this bye week. Just trying to think like who off the top of my head, like kind of who really and there'll come a time in 2 to 3 weeks where you're like, boy, I wish we had another bye week, because I've got this list of 4 to 5 key contributors that could really have used a bye week, and you don't get one. That's when it just starts coming at you fast and furious. But that's what this was about as much as Ellis Davis and Cash Cleveland. Again, you want all parties involved. You want all parties practicing. I can't even say for sure that Cash Cleveland or Ellis Davis would even make the travel squad this weekend. We don't know that. I mean, that's kind of where you're at, and I think that's a good problem because you're trying to figure out you can only take so many guys, and you'll have some decisions to make, and not everybody that people would assume would get to go will get to go. But that, again, these are – I heard Coach Wood actually talk about this the other day when he was asked about something along the lines of his defense. He goes, well, we're very fortunate because in some places I feel like I have 2 starters at certain spots because that's a luxury that, and so you're to switch it back to what you were talking about, Cowan, you're fortunate to have a scenario to where you're fine. You're going to leave guys at home or that allow them to ramp up and get healthy and get back into shape and all the things because they're not needed. So that's certainly a luxury that you are afforded to this point.
I know you can't confirm or rule anything out, obviously, until we get to Saturday. And I did just say, and I still believe this, that last time around in Utah was the offensive line's best showing, given the context and the challenge that they were facing. But I also still feel like that's a group that I guess I'm viewing as somewhat unsettled. I don't think it's in stone just yet, but is there any chance we're seeing some different things experimented in practice this week, or we could possibly see something different on Saturday with maybe a guard spot or something? Or is it just foolish to even consider that given what they did last time out?